We're going to be looking at some anomaly out in the Australian outback. The area seen from here is over 200 by 100 miles. We're looking at two dry lake beds that are connected with some water in each of them. The distance here between the two, or diagonally over 6 miles, 6.17 miles, we're going to be focusing on the one here to the right, which is an area of 3.28 miles. We're going to be looking up at the northern corner here, and you'll see some lines appear. This area is 1 by 0.6 miles. Now the etchings on this, I've been talking to some people on a forum, thinking that this could be animal routes coming down to the water to drink, but animals don't behave in such a rigid way that they'd follow one by one to the water. They're certainly not made of any kind of natural strata. There was one person that was suggesting perhaps that this could be a bulge from an underlying volcano, but you can see the strata here is very flat. It doesn't bulge at all, which it would have. You can see the lines, they fan out from a midpoint up here. There's 18 lines going in this direction out towards your right. And then we have the vertical lines coming towards us. This is all scratched or etched into the dry bed. It's interesting to see what it could be. Doesn't it remarkably remind you of the Nazca Lines? I feel personally that this is a sacred site for the aborigines, that they came here to celebrate their equinoxes. Maybe these lines here indicate directions of the sun in spring, summer, autumn, winter. In a vast desert of hundreds and hundreds, thousands of miles of just desert and sand, they don't have a lot of etching boards. One would think that this would be a place for them to gather. There's such a quiet solitude looking at this and the work going into them. Some of the longest lines here are 0.8 miles long. They're pretty straight. And now we're going to be looking at the second dry lake bed. When we come over to this area here, there isn't pretty much any etchings at all. As we get closer, we can see the strata around it. It's just pure sand. Coming in here, we have the dry lake bed. The water will fill up in the wet seasons when they have them. Looking over here, it just seems very nice and smooth. So if this was any kind of strata, you would think that there would be lines coming up, dikes or something that's carving into from the underlying strata, but there isn't. You can see it just looks nice and calm, surrounded by the desert. Not much at all here to observe. And if there were animal lines as they were intending on the other side, there should be trails here too from animals, but no. Down in this one corner at the end, I could find a few lines here, you'll see. But what becomes even more so exciting is when we follow these ones up, there's a drawing. And I want you to think what it looks like. Now, does that remind you of a kangaroo with long ears and a long tail? If this indeed is a celestial star map, we really need to start doing some research on this and get the Aborigines to talk to us.